A back four of Sareki at right back, his first start of the season, only his second start and his third appearance for the club for the young defender. Rhys Norrington-Davies, who made a cameo role against Manchester City after 14 months out with a hamstring injury that wrecked his World Cup hopes. The Welsh international partners Jack Robinson, Luke Thomas is at left back. Norwood, Harmer and McAtee in the midfield. Andre Brooks, Cameron Archer and William Masula are the three up front. As for Gillingham, they are unchanged from the team that played Colchester. They will play 3-5-2 with Jake Turner in goal. A back four of Shadrach Ogie, Max Amer and Conor Masterson. Shea Alexander is the right back. Scott Malone is the left wing back. Dom Jeffries, Conor Mahoney, Ethan Coleman in the midfield. Ashley Nadesan and Ollie Hawkins are the two up front. And Hawkins is 6'4". He could be a handful.
Oh, absolutely. I said throughout his career he's been renowned for that. He had a good spell at Portsmouth. He made his name really at Dagenham. I remember coming up against him, in the early days at Luton, and he can be a handful. We're talking about cup upset today and stuff. Handling the environment in the changing rooms and the no heating in those kind of. It's all part and parcel of a cup upset.
That's the voice of Nathan Jones with us here on BBC Radio 5 Live. We've already brought you Sunderland 0, Newcastle United 3. We'll return to the North East after Sports Report for Middlesbrough against Aston Villa. But here we are down in Kent, and of course Kent is firmly on the map this FA Cup weekend after Maidstone United knocked out Stevenage of League One. But will that pride be shared in the county of Kent as Sheffield United get us underway? There is a pocket of blue sky that has just appeared above the temporary stand away towards our right, but other than that it's been quite a grey and drab morning down here in Kent as Gillingham are looking to try and add to the woes of Sheffield United, a Sheffield United side that are yet to win away from home this season. It's the usual goal service as well, so we'll be going here, there and everywhere. It's the usual busy Saturday afternoon. But for Gillingham, since they beat Charlton in round 2, they've struggled for goals. Only 2 goals in their last 5 games, although they have mustered 55 shots in their last 3, which is a source of encouragement.
Absolutely, you keep buying a ticket. That's the old cliche, you get goals. It's talking about that pocket of blue sky, I think that's more temporary than the stand.
It's a goal kick. Certainly those Sheffield United fans, 1,500 of them who've made the long trek down from South Yorkshire, will hope that it hangs around for as long as possible, as Fotheringham in a light green goalkeeping outfit passes the ball out to Sareki, the right back, now with Robinson. Norrington Davis was playing as the left of the 2 central defenders, but you notice that predominantly they're left-footed, that back four.
Yeah, all 3 of the 4 left-footed, and this is what we were talking about beforehand. Now, this is a cup tie, upset. For me, the mentality has to be, right, start quickly, test them. Then when you look at the back 4, you think, Jack Robinson, really experienced, been had a good career, playing out the position slightly. Norrington Davis is an attacking fullback, playing at centre-half. 2 young fullbacks. Can you put them under pressure early?
Well, Gillingham are coming forward now, and Mahoney has invited Alexander to go on ahead of him, but he wasn't necessarily on the same wavelength, and it runs out for a goal kick to Sheffield United to take it.
And coupled with that, as we've already just said, Sheffield United haven't won away from home yet. Like, that will be playing on their mind a little bit, so if they can start well,
they're on their attack at the moment, Sheffield United. A little bit of a slip, but McAtee is back to his feet. Sareki joins the attack over on that far side. They just wait, slow it down, and now it's with Norwood with his vast experience. Harmer passes the ball out once again. Triangular passing patterns from Sheffield United in front of the Gordon Road stand that holds just over 2,500. It's got a height restriction, so it's a little lower than the rest of the stands as a shot comes in from distance by Thomas, but it's comfortably saved by Turner.
So it's a few little tactical battles here. Obviously one's playing a back 4, one's playing a back 5, so there'll be space. For example, both fullbacks will be sparing here, and then someone will have to step onto Norwood. If you don't, he will dictate the game as he did there. Range of passing, real experience and quality, and Gillingham are going to have to deal with that if they want to get a foothold in this game.
Well, there's been a goal, but it's not in the FA Cup. We've got a reporter at every FA Cup tie being played at 3 o'clock, but our featured game in League 2 is at Field Mill. Shojo Saka.
It's a lightning start for Crewe Alexandra. Mansfield 0, Crewe 1. Joe White with a left foot finish after Mansfield tried to play out the back, made a mess of it. It came to White. Great finish. Mansfield 0, Crewe 1.
Mansfield Town, who had a chance to go top of League Two. We welcome listeners to the BBC World Service wherever you are in the world. Always a pleasure to have your company. We're at Priestfield today, the home of Gillingham in League Two. They're currently 10th. They're just outside the playoffs. They're managed by Stephen Clements, only his 13th game in charge, the son of the former England international goalkeeper Ray Clements, who sadly passed away a few years ago, who won the competition twice. And Stephen was saying that that's his only regret, that his dad never got the chance to see him as a manager. So in the early days of his managerial career, he's looking to try and cause an upset. But of course, Kent firmly on the map with Maidstone of the National League South, the first actual side since Havant and Waterlooville from that area to reach the fourth round since 2008. As Gillingham are attacking. Cross comes in from the left, aimed towards Hawkins, goes back towards Hawkins. Can he roll the defender? He pulls it back. The ball now played out towards Alexander, right corner of the area for Gillingham in their royal blue and white shirts. On the inside, it might open up here, but the chance for Masterson was blocked off his left foot. But certainly a lot of encouragement for the League Two side, Nathan Jones.
All started with a great ball into Wally Hawkins. He won his header, got him up the pitch. Ball in the box. I thought he was on his heels slightly then. I thought he would have really gone and attacked it. And then now look at, and now he can hear the crowd. For the first time, they really tested Sheffield United.
That's certainly what you want. Just going back to Havant and Waterlooville, that takes me back. We're welcoming the listeners to the World Service, the African Cup of Nations. I was on a journey from Takoradi to Accra, listening to John Murray, because I'm pretty sure that year they played Liverpool in the FA Cup, the African Cup of Nations. The best possible coverage, of course, on the World Service that will be starting very soon. Meanwhile, a goal in the FA Cup. It's our Sports Extra commentary. It's at St Mary's. Paul Scott.
6 minutes played. It is Southampton 1, Walsall 0. Taylor, Harler, Beres with a ball over the top. Ryan Fraser was in behind. A cool finish from the edge of the area. Their championship side lead by a goal to 0.
Another goal at Ewood Park. Maz Faruqi.
And it's gone for the League One side. Jack Lancaster firing into the back of the net. Blackburn couldn't clear their area from a Cambridge set piece, and the League One side lead here. Blackburn 0, Cambridge 1. And
Salford are leading Forest Green by a goal to 0 in League Two. Carl Robinson, his first game in charge, as the offside flag is raised on that far side. So in League Two, it's Salford 1, Forest Green 0. So Cambridge United are leading at Blackburn, and Southampton are 1-0 up against Walsall. That is on Sports Extra. Over the course of this weekend, or in week as it feels like with the FA Cup, 12 commentaries, either on 5 Live or Sports Extra, as we're 6 minutes in, and it's 0-0. But what have you made of the start for the League Two team, Nathan?
Yeah, I think it's been a pretty even start, but as you see again, anything that Gillingham are going to create, I think is going to come through Hawkins early on, and if they can do that, build some momentum, get balls in the box. This is a young back four, apart from Jack Robinson, a young back four, and that's how they can really get a foothold in this game, I feel.
Now it's with Ogie coming forward. Hawkins holds the ball up well. Ogie tries to squeeze it through to Nadesan. Shot from distance, takes the deflection, and it will run wide for a goal kick. That was from Conor Mahoney.
Yeah, Conor Mahoney, good left foot. Obviously, George would know him here, coming from and being an ex-Millwall player, but they had a great chance earlier on, by the way, which we didn't mention. It was a better chance than he took. Just a little bit of composure and just to slot it in the corner. It was a glorious opportunity.
That's George, our producer, who'll be providing as much reaction as we can, because in Sports Report we've then got Middlesbrough, Aston Villa at 5:30. So the live games just keep on coming on BBC Radio 5 Live.
So here's the tactical battle we're talking about now. The wingers of Sheffield United pinning the whole back 5 backs, so it's 5v3. So now both their full backs are free, so they're able to do that, able to get a little foothold in the game, able to control possession in here. And it's important that someone from the Gillingham, either back 5 or the midfield, come out, bounces to get pressure. If they do that, then they have that 2 up front to be able to counter.
And Cameron Archer, I thought maybe Cameron Archer might want to go through the middle, but it's Cameron Archer who's playing on the left. Andre Brooks, what's a 7th successive start for him today, is out on the right, and it's William Asula, who is the Danish forward, who's going through the middle for Sheffield United. Still no other goals to tell you about elsewhere.
It's a young side today, Sheffield United gone. It's some real experience, and now we're talking about Norwood and his range of passing again. But they have one or two sort of experienced players in there, but it's a young team. It's a young team. It's an opportunity for Gillingham really to test them early on.
Yeah, a handful of players in the early 20s, just looking at it. Brooks, Asula, Archer, McAtee, Luke Thomas, Sareki. So it is a young side that Chris Wilder has named. As here is Archer, left-hand side. Ball just gets stuck a little bit with Brooks, but he manages to find Norwood. Every outfield player now is in the half away towards our left-hand side. As we look towards the Rainham end, a single stand for the more vociferous Gillingham supporters behind the goal, away towards our left. And that temporary blue sky is extending itself. There's a shaft of it now over on the far side, ahead of the Gordon Road stand here at Priestfield. As a diagonal ball is played in towards Thomas, just couldn't get it out from underneath his feet. And Masterson now with the release. He finds Nadesan to Hawkins, but it was only the two of them. And Sheffield United had a number of red and white shirts back to deal with the threat that the League Two side had posed. But it's been a competitive opening 10 minutes.
Absolutely, as I said, I think Gillingham's had the best opportunity. Obviously Sheffield United, as you expect, is controlling the ball with possession. But no, it's been an even start. I think they'd be reasonably happy. For me, it hasn't been a barnstorming start, which you really want from an FA Cup tie. But as I said, it's bubbling up nicely.
Sheffield United are attacking right-hand side. McAtee holds on to the ball, looks up, finds Thomas in a central area for the left back. Now it's with Jack Robinson forward of the centre circle. Out it goes towards the right for Harmer. Harmer waits. Gillingham have got everybody back bar Ollie Hawkins, but they're being patient, the Premier League side. Ball then played down that right-hand side, and Ogie will just marshal it out safely for a goal kick. There's been another goal in the FA Cup. This time it's at Carrow Road. Flo Pollock.
Norwich 1, Bristol Rovers 0. Great work down the right-hand side from Hernandez. Muscled his defender off the ball, passed it across the goal. Easy pass into the back of the net from Ashley Barnes. Norwich 1, Bristol Rovers 0.
29th meeting between these two, and the first in this famous competition, the FA Cup. 10 wins each so far, as Gillingham will build from the back.
It's an interesting tactic from Sheffield United. They're allowing Gillingham to get it from the back, allowing centre-halves to have the ball. I think that's definitely a tactical thing, because I think they don't want it to go into Hawkins, and because I think that can get Gillingham up the pitch.
Ball was played forward, and Norrington Davis is quite happy just to let it run through to Thomas, who was on the cover and tucked in the left back. Now this is Harmer, 6 yards short of the halfway line. He looks for the run of Archer, making that run from a left wing position into a central area.
Yeah, it's that out to in run, real good run, almost found him. But it's that type of thing they have to do. At times now with Gillingham sitting in spaces at a premium, so one, they have to move the ball quickly, but two, any time that it is space in behind, they have to have those runners.
In League Two, Bradford City have fallen behind at Valley Parade. Bradford City 0, Crawley 1 is a latest score. What about the National League leaders Chesterfield? They're at Watford. How have they started? John Bennett.
They've started really well. Watford 0, Chesterfield 0. Confident start by Chesterfield, although Watford have had the best chance. Yasser Asprilla with a shot deflected over the bar. Watford 0, Chesterfield 0.
Watford have lost at this stage for the last 4 seasons, and without a win at home in 4 at Vicarage Road. Don't be surprised if Chesterfield could spring a surprise. They've hardly lost this season under Paul Cook, and doing very, very well as they lead the National League. In the earlier games, in case you missed it, Wimbledon 1, Ipswich Town 3, Coventry City beat Oxford United 6-2. Maidstone United of National League South knocked out Stevenage by a 0-0, so the lowest ranked side in the competition go into round 4. The draw is on Monday night, incidentally. Millwall 2, Leicester City 3, and Sunderland 0, Newcastle United 3 was the result from our first commentary. 12.5 minutes in, goalless here at Priestfield, as Sareki to Harmer, just bounced up a little bit for him, back in the side after suspension. Robinson tries to play it through, that was blocked by Dom Jeffries. I had a good chat with Stephen Clements yesterday, and this is only his 13th game as he starts out on his managerial career. Of course, he's been as a coach for many years under Steve Bruce, and I said to him, what's the hardest thing in that transition? And he said, First of all, he joked about the lack of sleep.
Oh, yeah.
And then he said the silence, because he said sometimes when you debate things as a coach, hold on, opportunity for Alexander, cuts inside after hooking the ball forward, runs to the edge of the area, and then he just couldn't release it, and he was surrounded by 3 red and white shirts. And now McAtee on the break, the counter-attack, finds Asula. He's got Archer with him. Asula will go it alone. He enters the penalty area. The angle is tight.
It's a goal.
And he finds the back of the net. Asula runs over towards the corner flag. The angle was so tight, but he squeezed it past the goalkeeper. Rather muted celebration, but Sheffield United have taken the lead inside 14 minutes.
Yeah, had a wonderful opportunity in here. They were 3v2. He's giving the ball away, and then as soon as they broke and McAtee played Asula in, he knew he was in trouble. Boy has pace, he's 1v1. He's gone round Ima didn't get tight enough to him, and then a good finish.
It's his first goal for the club, William Asula, the Danish forward. It came in, I think, off the heels of the goalkeeper, Jake Turner.
The angle favours the goalkeeper much. It probably shouldn't have gone, but I said I knew as soon as McAtee played Asula in, I knew there was a bit of trouble. Keeper's got to do better.
So Sheffield United are ahead, and William Asula, on his 20th appearance for the club, has given the Premier League side the lead by 1-0. Gillingham quickly on the attack. Cross comes in from the left, doesn't quite reach Conor Mahoney in the edge of the penalty area, as there's been a goal, and it's at Newport. Lawrence Herdman.
No goal here, still 0-0, but Eastleigh living a charmed life. 3 times Newport have gone close. Will Evans, top scorer, blazed over from just 8 yards out, and 2 headers from James Clark and Scott Bennett, inches wide of the target. 0-0.
But there has been a goal at Stoke City. Pat Murphy.
And it's gone to Stoke City, their first real chance. Fine run by Junio, pulled it across low. Defenders hate those kind of crosses. 6-yard box, hit Van Haker, could do nothing about it. Own goal, but it doesn't matter. Stoke 1, Brighton 0.
Nothing materialises from a Gillingham corner kick on the right-hand side. Another goal at Carrow Road, Flo Pollock.
Rovers level, Norwich 1, Bristol Rovers 1. The League One side react to going a goal down. Grant Ward with the volleyed effort, Norwich 1, Rovers 1.
I never did get to finish that story. So he joked about the lack of sleep, but then he said, as coaches sometimes debate things, he said the other thing that was the silence, because you might disagree or agree, but the final decision always rests with the manager, and the first time that they had that disagreement, they were waiting for his final say. And he'd take the decisions to bed with you.
You take everything to bed with you. It's mad. You know, the people don't really realise, from being an assistant manager or a coach to then stepping up into the number 1 position, it is categorically different. Everything, your life changes, every single part of it. And Steve's finding that out. He's been an excellent assistant manager to Clem's been, you know, he's been an excellent assistant manager to Steve Bruce, but now he's finding out what it is to make a decision maker, and he's earned that, you know, that right and that experience to be able to do that.
Sheffield United lead by 1-0. Defensive mix-up at the back. Sheffield United could profit. Archer has a shot blocked, and Gillingham get the ball away.
I've got to be honest, I'm really disappointed. Gillingham had a corner, and they've got one of the best in the division in terms of League Two of attacking the ball in terms of Ollie Hawkins. He stood on the keeper. They took an outswinger first of all, played it short, and then hit it to the penalty spot where he was nowhere near. That surely has to be one of their avenues to get a goal.
Plymouth are leading Sutton United by 1-0 in the FA Cup. John Akers is there.
Yeah, it's scrappy, but it's Argyle who lead. It's a lovely little finish from Kundal after Bazanis had tried to keep it out. 17-year-old Freddie Isaka, good work in the build-up. The Championship side lead Sutton by 1-0.
Ian Foster named as their new manager as a replacement for Stephen Schumacher, whose excellent start continues. He's yet to taste defeats at Stoke so far. We'll be going to the Rugby Union after this corner kick for Sheffield United, playing from right to left as we look, leading by 1-0, headed out at the near post. Only as far as McAtee, who fires it back in, and then that was blocked. So, Leicester Saracens, Chris Jones.
And Leicester have scored. Ian Dan Kelly intercepting Owen Farrell's pass to sprint in from 40. Andre Pollard couldn't convert, but Leicester lead Saracens 5-0, 15 minutes gone.
Bright conditions now here at Priestfield.
I think you're putting a very positive stint on that, Sky. I really, really do.
It is brightening up though, is it?
They've just put the lights on, that's why.
Gillingham are coming forward. They're trailing by a goal to nil. Nothing bright about the scoreline as far as they are concerned. But there has been a goal at Hull City in the FA Cup. Katie Smith.
Yes, Hull City 0, managerless Birmingham City 1. Jukovic diving header. It's his third really decent attempt of the match so far. Hull totally dominating possession, but Birmingham City leading here by a goal to nil.
Steve Spooner is the interim manager. Nadesan with a quick throw for Gillingham on the right-hand side. Infield finds Coleman. And now the ball is worked out towards the far side. And Malone waits. Ogie goes towards him. Now Gillingham all of a sudden have got every outfield player in the Sheffield United half. And it's played forward by Max Ehmer. The flag goes up on this near side. He's got history of actually, it was a fine volley, but the flag was raised very, very early. So it was never going to count. But it was a nice bit of control. Lifted in. But it was Jeffries.
He was offside. He was just slightly laboured in his movement to get back onside. But that has to be a route that Gillingham will go down. Whether it's pretty, whether it's not, that's effective. Because both centre-halves are not the biggest. Ollie Hawkins has that prowess, he has that stature, and they can go into him, get runners off him, and that will cause Sheffield United problems. And they have to go down that avenue today, I think.
We've talked about a number of new managers who are in charge today. The Cowleys are at Colchester United, but they've fallen behind. Danny Cowley's seen his team trail at Swindon at County Ground. Swindon 1, Colchester 0. No other goals to tell you that elsewhere. Gillingham looking for an equaliser. Release Alexander, the right wing back, and he passes the ball inside, and it goes behind Masterson, who'd made that striding run from the back. And now all of a sudden Sheffield United can counter, and it's 3 against 2 in favour of the Premier League side. Archer enters the penalty area and then pulls the ball back, and then Brooks, left-footed, pulls it wide, goal kick.
Almost a carbon copy of the first goal. Right back coming forward, or right wing back coming forward, loses the ball on the edge of the Sheffield United box. They're open, they have pace in abundance to Sheffield United, and they get an opportunity.
Just looking at it now, whether they've changed it around. Brooks started out on the right, but Brooks is now playing in a slightly deeper role, isn't he, for Sheffield United? McAtee's the one who's gone to the right.
Yeah, but I think they'll have an element of rotation in there. McAtee's a clever little footballer, you know. He can find pockets and maybe drifting in off there. And if they're in good possession, then they can get the right back on. McAtee can drift into those pockets and really cause problems. Real intelligent footballer.
That's Nathan Jones, over 500 appearances during his playing career, and as a manager reached the 5th round twice with Luton and Southampton in this famous competition. 21 minutes played. It remains Sheffield United leading by a goal to nil. Let's get an update from Vicarage Road. John Bennett.
Watford being given a real test here. Watford 0, Chesterfield 0, but Chesterfield have had a great spell. 3 corners in a row. Very good chance for Tom Naylor, through on goal, saved by the goalkeeper. Watford 0, Chesterfield 0.
Another goal at Blackburn, Mas Faruqi.
Equaliser for the Championship side. Sami Szmodic's good link-up play from Rovers at the edge of the area, and then he fires it into the back of the Cambridge net. 1-1 between Blackburn and Cambridge.
Thank you, Mas. Sheffield United with Norrington Davis to Thomas, near side the left. Short diagonal ball in field. Archer is able to turn, plays it back. Here is Brooks now just outside the centre circle, left of the centre circle in the Gillingham half. And then between the two central defenders, in fact Norwood's actually the one of them who drops very, very deep, the midfielder in between the two. Here is Robinson. Nathan earlier talked about his distribution and his vision that he's got from his capability from midfield, the former Northern Ireland international. Here he is again with a first-time ball dinked over the top, run through towards the goalkeeper Turner.
We've just killed him, just accommodate this curse there. You've just said how good his distribution is, and he's just clipped one through with his left foot. But no, he's been a wonderful player. He's a serial promotion winner from the Championship, and earned his right in the Premier League, and still producing. Looks after himself. Wonderful player, and with great quality.
Good header from Norrington Davis, drops towards Thomas. Thomas hits it forward, left-footed. I'm reluctant to say it, but that blue sky is increasing even more.
Yeah, I'll give you that now.
That's a concession, is it?
That is a concession, yes.
Midway through the first half, you're listening to 5 Live, the World Service. We're also live on BBC Sounds.
That's another thing that Clem can take. Never be afraid to say when you're wrong.
Ball hit forward by the goalkeeper Turner. I know that feeling very much, Nathan.
Well, you're married, are you?
as you know only too well. As this will be a free kick to Gillingham, and they're going to take their time, and the defenders are going up to join Nadesan and Hawkins, the two strikers. Masterson is one of those players who's wandering forward. Shadrach Ogie is another. It's going to be Shea Alexander to take it on what is his 29th birthday today for the Gillingham right wing back, but quite not a high line, but it's enough to give the keeper protection for Fotheringham. Those red and white striped shirts are lined up just outside the D. Mahoney's the one who swings it in after it was knocked to him. Flying header out by Robinson, put back in by Aymer to the edge of the area. Ogie's touch is intercepted by Robinson. Norwood gets the ball up towards Archer, and Archer now has got Harmer going ahead of him and just couldn't release him, because otherwise Harmer might well have been in on goal.
Two things for me here. One, they've got to be more secure in terms of and not as open for the counter-attack, because Sheffield United have, even though they've got youth, they've got a lot of pace and athleticism. And secondly, set plays are going to be a big thing for them today, and they're going to be a way for them to get back into the game, maybe to get level or to win the game, and they have to be better at the minute.
As it is, the League Two side, 10th in League Two, just outside the playoff picture, trailing by a goal to nil, but there has been yet another goal at Ewood Park, Masfarouki.
And it's a fabulous one from Sully Kaikai to put Cambridge ahead again. Really took it out on a half volley, edge of the area. Great cross on the left from James Brophy as well. Really good goal, this one. Blackburn 1, Cambridge 2.
Without a win in 11 away games, Cambridge United. Remember, under Mark Bonner, they knocked out Newcastle United at St James's Park early in Eddie Howe's tenure, and they are now back in front at Ewood Park against the Championship side. Let's get another update from the Rugby Union at Leicester. Chris Jones.
Beautiful Surrey score, lovely interplay. Elliot Daly slicing through, Tom Parton finishing nicely. Owen Farrell converted from the touchline. Leicester 5, Saracens 7, 22 minutes gone.
25 minutes played at Priestfield. Sheffield United, yet to win on their travels at all this season, are leading by a goal to nil as Archer inside towards the goal scorer Asula. Outside of the right boot, it's carved away by Norwood, and it's Harmer who'll retrieve it, but he had to drop back inside his own half to keep it with Sheffield United.
Yeah, Sheffield United controlling possession quite comfortably. These little pockets here, because of the high wingers and the wing backs getting pinned back, there's lots and lots of space in those wide pockets, which Sheffield United are finding outlets there. So it's very difficult to get any real pressure on the ball, and that's why they're having to defend very, very deep.
Here is Archer for Sheffield United on the left touchline midway through the Gillingham half. Ball from Norwood went high up in the air. Norrington Davis did well to control it. Finds Archer. Challenge comes in on Archer, but there's no foul. Picked up by Mahoney, and it goes out of play as he played a short ball ahead of him, but it was out of the reach of Ashley Nadesan, who once scored and helped knock out Leeds United when he was a Crawley player 3 years ago. But for Gillingham, since 2010, when they've made round 3, they've drawn Premier League opposition on 5 times, and each time at home. However, their record isn't very good when it comes at Premier League opposition. They've lost 9 of their last 11 FA Cup ties against Premier League sides. Cardiff and Charlton, the exceptions in 2004 and 2019, and they're behind here to Chris Wilder's side. But it's no longer goalless at Vicarage Road in the Cup. John Bennett.
Oh, there could be a story here. Watford 0, Chesterfield 1. Chesterfield from the National League taking the lead. Shackelford with a brilliant cross right hand side, and Joe Quigley was there to head it into an empty net. Watford 0, Chesterfield 1.
63 places beneath Watford in the English pyramid system. And remember, Maidstone United have already knocked out Stevenage by a goal to nil in one of the early games in the FA Cup third round. 5 Live, we're approaching the half hour. Sheffield United leading by a goal to nil. Now with Thomas on this near side, the left. Back with Brooks, this young player who's come through the academy, joined the academy at the age of 8. He's a Sheffield lad. Now with Robinson to Sirecki, the right back, finds Harmer. There is an element of control about Sheffield United at the moment, Nathan.
Yeah, it total control of the football. I mean, as I said, Gillingham have had the odd opportunity from the counter-attack, and then when they've had set plays, they haven't made the most of them. But at the minute, they're not getting any pressure whatsoever on the back 2, back 3 of of Sheffield United, and they're able to dictate and to get out the pressure. And as I said, the front three are pinning the back five back, so there's those spaces in those. There's a lot of space in those wide areas, and that's where they're finding the respite.
Here is Thomas.
Right there.
Brooks. Back inside towards Thomas, the left back, playing in a central midfield role there for the time being for Sheffield United. Now Robinson comes forward. Robinson finds Thomas once again in that central area. Everybody back behind the ball bar. Hawkins for Gillingham, out towards Harmer. Sarecki's gone on ahead of him, the right back, but Ogie makes a good firm challenge. Out it goes for a throw.
It's a real interesting shape, 3-5-2, that if you're passive, you can get pinned back in. You really can. And then those spaces, you can't get to the ball. So you have to be aggressive. Someone has to bounce, someone has to bump, come out of shape, be a little bit aggressive to win the ball. And once you do that, you can become a real good counter-attack inside because of the two you have and the athleticism of wing-backs. That's the difference with what Gillingham are not doing at the minute.
Harmer, short diagonal ball. Robinson, from his central defensive role, runs midway through the Gillingham half, loses the ball. No referee, Darren Bond, didn't see that there was a foul, and let's play continue. Brooks lost it momentarily, and then he was tugged back as he tried to retrieve it, and that was a clear foul, and that will be a free kick. Port Vale 0, Charlton 1 is the latest score in League One. I think Charlton needed that with their recent run of form. They're ahead at Vale Park in League One. So Sheffield United fans making the noise here in that open stand away towards our right. Half an hour played. Their team are leading by 1-0. No real threat of any chance of an upset so far here at Priestfield on BBC Radio 5 Live. As it's Harmer with a free kick for Sheffield United. And it was an outstretched foot by Robinson. And then Brooks tried to get on the end of it, but it was out of play for a goal kick.
It's a wonderful ball in, and we've talked about the quality that Harmer, that Norwood has, but that's an excellent ball in, and and with a less potent side set play wise, they've caused Gillingham more problems with set plays than Gillingham have.
Sheffield United, who've progressed from 18 of their last 19 FA Cup ties against lower division opposition in their promotion year to the Premier League under Chris Wilder in his first spell. That was the exception when they lost at home to non-league Barnet. And I remember 3 years ago seeing them beat Bristol Rovers 3-2, and here they are leading by 1-0. And he did say that he was going to have a full tilt at the FA Cup this year, Chris Wilder, because in his words, and of course it's true, winning breeds confidence.
Absolutely. But
now making the run through from midfield is Jeffries. He looks for the ball inside towards Nadesan, and Nadesan never looked in full control of the ball, and Norrington Davis was able to come back and put it out of play for a throw.
I thought there was a pull. I didn't think he made the most of it. I think he really, Norrington Davis with real good pace, but I think he had a pull at him. If Nadesan had made more of that, he might have given Darren Bond a decision to make.
This, of course, is a situation because it's at a non-Premier League ground. There is no VAR at this stage of the FA Cup. It's old school. Old school is new school, as Chris Wilder once said at an LMA Awards dinner, I remember a number of years ago. 13 minutes to go to half-time. Ogie with a long throw. Hasn't been dealt with. And the opportunity to Max Amer, he just couldn't get it out from underneath his feet. And there was Jeffries, who had a chance to have a dig at goal, and then a foul. And this gives Gillingham a chance midway through the Sheffield United half to do exactly what you said before with the set piece.
And it just came from a long throw. Ollie Hawkins wins the header, flicks it on, causes a little bit of carnage. Now, look, and with the greatest respect, I'm not sure that Gillingham are going to outpass and out clever, if that's a word, Sheffield United. They're a Premier League side. They've earned their stripes. But if they test them and put enough quality in the box, then things can happen. And this has to go in with quality because they've got size and power in there.
Mahoney's the one who's going to take it. It's left-footed.
Great ball.
It goes in, and the flag's up on this near side, but the keeper's made an excellent save anyway. It was at point-blank range. It was fired in. There were two of them out there. One of them was Masterson. It might have been Hawkins who dived in front of him, but the flag was raised immediately by Darren Cann. But nevertheless, what a save by Foderingham.
Absolutely. I mean, he's come under a bit of stick lately, Foderingham, and for especially one of the goals at Luton last week. But that's the thing they have to do: get some territory, get some pressure, play for a few set plays, things like that. Balls in the box, gets the crowd going and gives them opportunities. It's a glorious ball in from Mahoney, and then with the power and the size they have, they can cause problems. problems.
Ball slid through towards Archer. Quickly off his line was Jake Turner, all in purple, away towards our left, smothered outside his 6-yard area, but hangs on to the ball, and then with the underarm throw out. So that might just offer a little bit of encouragement then for the League Two side, you feel?
Yeah. Look, we've spoken about using Ollie Hawkins and going in, and as I said, Clem will have his way of playing and so on, but at times you have to sacrifice certain things. At times you have to think, right, how am I going to get the most out of this game? How am I going to put pressure on this opposition and play for certain strengths you have within your team? And when Gillingham have done that so far, they've caused Sheffield United problems.
Well, they've missed Ollie Hawkins. He's had a heel injury, so he's only played just over 3 hours of football before today. 2 starts and 2 appearances off the bench. 3 goals that he scored last season. But signed last January from Mansfield. He's 6'4", he's 31 years of age, and he's a bit of a handful. As we have about just over 10 minutes to go to half time, and it's Gillingham 0, Sheffield United 1 in this FA Cup third round tie, live on BBC Radio 5 Live, BBC Sounds and the World Service. Here is Robinson just outside his own penalty area. Norrington Davis gets the ball back from Thomas. Gillingham in their royal blue and white shirts have dropped off. Once again, Sareki, the right back, is pushed up quite high. It's Harmer who drops back into that area. Let's get an update from Stoke City, Pat Murphy.
They're still leading 1-0 due to that own goal from the centre-back Van Heck, and they're playing well, Stoke. Wesley just past the post, Berger a shot safe. Only one chance for Brighton, who've been below par. Great work from Pedro. Ferguson header over the bar. It's anyone's game here at the moment. Stoke 1, Brighton 0.
Thanks, Pat. Masterson put under pressure from Brooks. Kept the ball from going behind, but has conceded a throw deep inside the Gillingham half as we look down this 2-tiered main stand. Whenever you see it on the TV, you obviously see the open end, which is often, you feel for the away supporters if it's a particularly bad day, a day when there's no blue sky. But this is a tidy main stand, this, isn't it? This 2-tiered one.
It's a nice little ground, and to be fair, if you just popped a temporary roof on that temporary stand, even with the wonderful conditions today, it's a lovely little ground.
Yeah, never been here before. I'm always quite excited, the fan in me, to go to a new stadium. You say fan, you might think I'm more of an anorak, but don't comment actually on that when I've asked you that now, Nathan, as here is Brooks for Sheffield United. But parking's a problem. Priestfield, situated amongst the rows of terraced houses here at Priestfield. Another goal at Blackburn. That's Faruqi.
Another equaliser for Blackburn. Second goal of the afternoon as well for Sami Szmodic. Good finish from him after Sigurdsson picked up the ball in the midfield. Nice through ball for Szmodic to finish. Blackburn 2, Cambridge 2.
Not short of a terraced house there either outside Ewood Park, as Sheffield United still lead by 1-0. McAtee makes the run in behind, and then Ogie slides in and forces the ball behind for a corner kick, but there's been a red card at Newport County. Lawrence Herdman.
A straight red for serious foul play for Eastleigh central defender George Langston, coming in on the back of Harry Charsley, the midfielder for Newport County. So Eastleigh holding lead to Newport, but now with it all to do, down to 10 men.
They've never reached round 4, and that will make their task just a little bit harder. Sheffield United have got a corner kick. They're playing from right to left as we look. Right hand side, Harmer has gone across to take it. Sheffield United have got 4 lined up, almost as if they're in a bus queue waiting. Now they split as it comes in, outswinger from the right hand side, towering header away by Masterson, played back by McAtee. Harmer waits to deliver the ball, slips, and the ball then squirts away from behind him, keeps it in play. Now it's with McAtee. Norwood helps it towards Thomas along the ground. Norrington Davis, Archer was in space on the left hand side, but he runs in field, ball balloons up in the air, and Ogie will clear it away downfield, but that's asking a lot for Hawkins to give chase. And we'll get an update from Queen's Park Rangers and John Hunt.
It's 37 minutes on the clock here. QPR 0 and Bournemouth 0. Rangers giving Bournemouth quite a good game, to be honest with you, Ian, with their Paul Smith looking particularly dangerous down the left. Bournemouth, though, increasing their attacks. Philip Billings had the two best chances, including smashing a shot from an angle just wide. They're on the attack again. Begovic saves comfortably. QPR well in this game. QPR 0, Bournemouth 0.
Latest scores then in the 3 o'clocks in the FA Cup. Blackburn 2, Cambridge 2, Gillingham 0, Sheffield United 1 here, Hull City 0, Birmingham 1, Newport 0, Eastleigh 0, but Eastleigh are down to 10 men, Norwich 1, Bristol Rovers 1, Plymouth leading Sutton United by a goal to 0. The Sheffield United are attacking, Harmer then slows it down. As we just heard, no goals at Queen's Park Rangers against Bournemouth. Shot from distance, keeper makes the save, loose ball, tucked in. Sheffield United increased their lead, and it was Asula on the follow-up. He was razor sharp to react to that loose ball. Sheffield United increased their lead 6 minutes before half-time.
It's a routine save for the keeper, and he's fumbled it, he's pushed it back just into play, and then Osula's just been on the move and snapped it up. For me, the keeper has to do better, and I hope I'm not doing him an injustice, but on first look,
it was a good effort that came in. It must have been close to 30 yards out. I think it was Sareki, the right back, who fired it in, and the keeper parried it, and Asula pounced.
Yeah, look, it's a routine save for a goalkeeper. He has to hold that. I felt he could have done better with both. I know a bit of a keeper killer, but I felt he could have done better with both. It's not zinging, it's not firing quickly. It's just a little to his right. Has to do better for me there.
Well, all of a sudden, Gillingham's task now is so much harder. Just to finish off those latest scores: Norwich 1, Bristol Rovers 1, Plymouth 1, Sutton 0. Southampton lead Walsall by goal to 0. Stoke 1, Brighton 0, Watford 0, Chesterfield 1. So there are upsets elsewhere in the 3 o'clocks, and in fact there's now been a goal back at Queen's Park Rangers. John Hunt.
Yes, for Queen's Park Rangers, and a tremendous individual goal by Sinclair Armstrong, who took it up on the extreme left just inside the Bournemouth half. He really tore at them. He was too strong for Marcos Senesi and scored from close range. Queen's Park Rangers 1, Bournemouth 0.
So we've got Premier League sides in Bournemouth and Brighton who are behind, and we've also got Chesterfield, the National League leaders, leading at Vicarage Road, as Thomas is shown a yellow card here for Sheffield United, who are leading by 2 goals to 0. Salford 1, Forest Green 1 is the latest score in League 2, so Forest Green have equalised. As Thomas waits to take the throw in front of his manager, Chris Wilder, almost unrecognisable with his grey bobble hat on down below. Ball hit forward. That was a push in the back by Norrington Davis on Madison, and a free kick with an opportunity just in from the right touchline, 30 yards out from goal, to try and put it in the mixer.
Yeah, as I said, all these, as we've said on numerous occasions today, these are going to be the big opportunities for Gillingham to get something, to either get a foothold or to claw a goal back. But at the minute, it's looking like a routine Sheffield United game here.
Well, Mahoney had a good delivery with his last free kick. It's about 6-8 yards in from the right touchline, 30 yards out from goal. Gillingham are playing from left to right. It's Mahoney, left-footed. It's an in-swing, and the header from Hawkins produces the save. Madison on the follow-up. Good block comes in from Thomas behind for a corner kick. Well, clearly that's the way to go.
Well, it's an avenue, and look, what Gillingham have to do is to have enough territory, nothing that they can cause these problems. Sheffield United are a good side. They're Premier League. They've played League One, Championship, done brilliantly to get out of those divisions. So they're going to be technically better, but these are the moments.
In comes the corner towards the far post, headed out by Asula. Comes out now towards Aymer. Aymer hits a volley, but he's sliced it. Another goal, Queen's Park Rangers, John Hunt.
A second for Queen's Park Rangers. This time it's Lyndon Dykes who scored it. He went the same path down the left-hand side, cut in, shot. It was deflected by Max Aarons and into the net. Queen's Park Rangers 2, Bournemouth 0, 2 minutes for half-time.
We'll try and bring you as much reaction as we can. We'll also go around the many grounds that we're at. We're at every FA Cup tie in the 3 o'clock. We've got commentary to come from Middlesbrough, Aston Villa at 5:30. In the meantime, an update from Leicester in the Rugby Union. Chris Jones.
Leicester 12, Saracens 10. The Tigers back in front. They're getting scrum dominance and bossing things up front. Matt Rogerson barrelling over for their second try, converted by Pollard. Final minute of the half. Leicester 12, Saracens 10.
We've got 2 minutes to go to the break. Sheffield United lead by 2-0 as Sareki inside now for Harmer over the halfway line. McAtee takes it in his stride. Now he finds Archer back in the central area. Archer with the shot that was charged down, and then it almost fell kindly to Asola, who was on the charge in the penalty area, and he couldn't keep it down, right-footed, 6 yards out, goal kick.
McAtee's quietly gone about his work here. He's taken a real good positions, tucked inside. You know, he drifts out and starts out wide, then drifts in, finds little pockets, and when he does it, things have happened. He got a corner early from his movement, where he came short, went in behind, showing real intelligence in how he plays here today.
He's on loan from Manchester City for a successive season. He's only 21 years of age. He was key for Sheffield United last year. 9 goals that he scored in 43 appearances. As running back is Mahoney, and he keeps the ball in play, holds off Archer, makes good progress down this side, and in the end it was Brooks who slid in as it goes out of play for a Gillingham throw. 60 seconds to go to half time.
He's a good footballing family, actually, because we signed his brother at Luton. Gone out on loan this year, but we signed his brother, and another footballing talent came from Grimsby.
Yeah. Here is.
I wouldn't want to be on his quiz team, but wonderful footballer.
Doesn't have a specialised subject, I take it.
Yeah, it is playing football.
Swindon 2, Colchester 0 is the latest score in League 2. That's at the county ground. We'll find out how much added on time there will be here at Priestfield, but no problems for the Premier League side Sheffield United, whose last away win was at Birmingham in May. This season they've drawn 2 and lost 8 on their travels, as Brooks getting a regular run on the side under Chris Wilder. On this near side is Masterson. Hawkins. Masterson's continued his run, and then his cross was that of a central defender, because it sailed all the way out, couldn't find its intended target, and a goal kick.
So for me now, sort of Dean Clemens has the issues he has now at half time is when he has certain situations, when he can get into in and around the Sheffield United box, things happen, things are happening. It's how he has more of those now, and then being able to do that without leaving the back door open, and that now is his dilemma at half time. Does he change? Does he persevere this? Does he stay in the game for 10-15 games and then maybe go for it a little bit more? Those are the things now he'll be thinking about as a manager.
That's the voice of Nathan Jones. Sheffield United with 2 minutes of added on time here at Priestfield, leading by 2-0. We've talked a lot about that blue sky that's now got a little bit of a pink tint towards it, as
I think the only tint in that sky is the one that you're putting on it.
As there is a little ray of sunshine, and I'm not just talking about Nathan away towards my left.
It's been a while since I've been called that.
As it pops up through the clouds over on that far side. Sheffield United keeping the ball. Chris Wilder will be very, very content with his performance, won't he?
He definitely will be, because I don't think, apart from defence himself, I don't think he's been troubled a lot. But I'm sure
McAtee,
second half could be a little bit different.
Harmer's just blasted one, and that's gone and caught Ethan Coleman, I think, in the unmentionables, as his eyes are watering at the moment. That's a header away. Port Vale have equalised in League One at home to Charlton. 1-1. Norwood touches it to Asula, lays it off towards McAtee on the stretch, and then cleared away by Ethan Coleman for Gillingham. Back to Maz Farouk, we go at Ewood Park.
Third goal for Sammy Schmodek's a first half hat-trick for the Blackburn man in this game. Simple finish from him, great cross on the right from Britain. Blackburn 3, Cambridge 2.
And the half-time whistle has sounded here at Priestfield, and Gillingham 0, Sheffield United 2. Fotheringham has made 2 saves. One of them wouldn't have counted from 2 Hawkins headers, but apart from that, from set pieces, they've troubled to pose any problems for Sheffield United in open play, who lead through 2 goals from William Osula. Nathan Jones.
Yeah, as I said, it's not been a dam-busting sort of raucous cup tie. You'd expect it a little bit more. When they have had, a little bit of territory, things have happened. It's just how they get that, how they create that little bit more territory, a little bit more pressure, how they cause Sheffield United that little bit more few more problems, and that's going to be the thing for Clem to sort out at half-time.
And certainly Jake Turner, the keeper, would have wanted to have done better for both the goals, not keeping out the shot from Osula from a tight angle, and then parrying Sareki's long-range effort where Osula pounced. So half-time at Priestfield, Gillingham 0, Sheffield United 2.
Ian, Nathan, thank you very much indeed. We'll have second-half commentary, of course, from Priestfield. Big story of the day so far, Maidstone United of National League South through to the 4th round. We'll be hearing from their manager George Elokobi on Sports Report. It's going to be difficult for anyone to match that, but Chesterfield are giving it a good go at Watford. John Bennett.
Yeah, they're going the right way about it. Watford 0, Chesterfield 1 at half-time. Chesterfield have taken their amazing National League form into the FA Cup 3rd round. They look so confident in possession. Joe Quigley, the striker, with the goal, a header just a couple of yards out after a brilliant right-wing cross. That came after a spell of pressure, 3 corners in a row. Before that, Watford had 2 good chances to score. Kone wasting a one-on-one, a Spreer's shot deflected over. But after a bright start, Watford look out of ideas, and Wesley Hoot lost his call near the end of the half and was booked. Upset on the cards, Watford 0, Chesterfield 1.
The full-time scores from earlier, remember, Wimbledon 1, Ipswich 3, Millwall 2, Leicester 3, Coventry 6, Oxford United 2, Sunderland 0, Newcastle 3, and then that amazing achievement that we heard for Maidstone United. Let's go to Rodney Parade. It's half-time at Newport County of League 2 against Eastleigh of the National League. Lawrence Herdman.
Newport 0, 10-man, Eastleigh 0, largely backs against the wall for National League Eastleigh, and they were shown a straight red card. George Langston late in the half, a serious foul play. Before that, 4 times Newport went desperately close. Top scorer Will Evans blazing over. James Clark, Will Bennett and Seb Palmer Holden all heading just wide. The Spitfires from Hampshire, they've been physical, committed and resolute, and with plenty of Football League experience in Richard Hill's side, they'll still believe despite being down to 10 men. Newport 0, Eastleigh 0.
There's been a goal in the game between Stoke and Brighton. Pat Murphy.
Equaliser to Brighton and a special goal from Estupinan. He's making a habit this one recently. 20-yard screamers with his left foot. That was a beautiful goal just on the top of the bounce, cancelling out Van Heckel's own goal after quarter of an hour. Until that equaliser, Stoke were holding off Brighton with a degree of comfort. A minute to go before half-time. Stoke 1, Brighton 1.
Brilliant end to the first half for Queen's Park Rangers of the Championship against Bournemouth. John Hunt.
Yes, Bournemouth now under massive pressure. Half-time, Queen's Park Rangers 2, Bournemouth 0. The 2 goals coming late in the first half. First, 20-year-old Sinclair Armstrong showing tremendous strength down the left-hand side to put Rangers ahead, and they went 2 up 2 minutes later with Lyndon Dykes' deflected shot. Queen's Park Rangers very much in the driving seat. QPR 2, Bournemouth 0.
Well, we know what the story of the day is, but the game of the day is at Ewood. Maz Faruqi.
Yeah, 3-2 to Blackburn at the break, Steve. Pretty decent game this, despite the lack of Blackburn support here inside Ewood Park. But the noisy Cambridge fans down to my right will have really enjoyed their second goal in particular. A lovely half volley from Sully Kaikai as he latched into a brilliant cross on the left from James Brophy. Cambridge were ahead 6 minutes into the game through James Lancaster. They were then pegged back by Sammy Schmodix, who then did the same again to make it 2-2 just before half-time, and then he added his third in first half stoppage time. So that's a 25-minute first half hat-trick then for Rovers' top scorer of the season. There's been some questionable defending at times, but that's helped make it really quite a good watch, actually. Blackburn 3, Cambridge 2.
That Brighton goal came just before the half-time whistle, Pat Murphy.
It's 1-1. This after Van Heckel put through his own goal, couldn't get his feet sorted out after quarter an hour. When the front 3 can't do it for Brighton, give the ball to Estupinan. Wonderful left foot volley again makes it Stoke 1, Brighton 1.
Let's go to St Mary's, Southampton in the Championship against League 2 Walsall. Paul Scott.
Southampton lead by a goal to nil at half-time. Ryan Fraser's 6th minute strike separating the two sides. Saints have dominated the ball. They'll be wondering how they're not 2 goals to the good. Sekou Mara with a gilt-edged opportunity from 6 yards, blazing over the bar. He should have done better before Will Smallbone forced a good save from Jackson Smith, who got down low. Smallbone then blazing gazing over the bar from the edge of the box himself. Saints with numerous opportunities. They haven't found a second goal as it stands. Southampton 1, Walsall 0 at the break.
Half-time at Home Park. Championship Plymouth Argyle against League 2 Sutton United. John Akers.
Yes, Sutton United have done all right, but they trail by a goal to 0 at half-time, and the new manager, Ian Foster, who was unveiled to the Home Park fans before the game, will have liked what he's seen. They dominated possession and scored through Luke Cundle on loan from Wolves after a nice team move. It's Argyle 1, Sutton 0.
Norwich City at home to Bristol Rovers. Flo Pollock.
Half-time, Norwich 1, Bristol Rovers 1, and even an open game. And Ashley Barnes' tap-in gave Norwich the lead. Rovers reacted within 5 minutes, though. Grant Ward's thumping shot. The League One side so close to going in front just before the break. A big George Longhand and the woodwork keeping them at bay. Half-time, Norwich 1, Bristol Rovers 1.
What about the game between Hull City and Birmingham? Katie Smith.
Yeah, Wayne Rooney sacked on Tuesday. Birmingham now 45 minutes from the FA Cup 4th round. They're leading by a goal to 0. That was thanks to a perfectly timed diving header from Jukovic. They've been really solid as well, definitely sitting back, but perhaps a little sense of relief that they've got that attacking fearless Rooney wishes taken away from them today. Hull dominated possession, nothing on target so far. Hull City 0, Birmingham 1.
Into League One next. Cheltenham Town at home to the leaders Portsmouth. Laura Kenyon.
Half-time, Cheltenham 0, Portsmouth 0. The league leaders being held here by relegation battling Cheltenham. In fairness, both sides carving out chances, just lacking a clinical edge. Portsmouth, they did have the ball in the back of the net, but Whistler gone and pulled back for a free kick. Manager John Mousinho not best pleased, with Portsmouth looking to extend that gap at the top of the table. Cheltenham 0, Portsmouth 0.
That would take Portsmouth 3 points clear as it stands, but a long way to go. Earlier it finished. Harrogate Town 3, Doncaster Rovers 1. Other half-time scores for you in League 1. Burton Albion 0, Wickham 0, Exeter 0, Carlisle United 0, Port Vale 1, Charlton 1. In the early kick-off it was Fleetwood Town 1, Derby County 3. Elsewhere in League 2, Mansfield at home to Crewe. Shojo Saka.
Mansfield 0, Crewe 1. The goal came from a Mansfield mistake, playing tiki-taka in their own box. Joe White's left foot finish through a bunch of defenders gave Crewe the lead. Mansfield have had lots of possession, just haven't been able to crack a resolute Crewe defence. There's certainly work to do for Nigel Clough at half-time. Mansfield 0, Crewe 1.
Other half-time scores: Barrow 0, Tranmere 0, Bradford 0, Crawley 1, Salford 1, Forest Green 1, and Swindon 2, Colchester 1. In the National League, Dorking 0, Oldham 1, it's Ebbsfleet 1, Wealdstone 0, Hartlepool United 0, Oxford 0, Maidenhead United 0, Bromley 0, Rochdale 0, Kidderminster 0, Solihull lead Woking by a goal to 0, and it is Southend 1, Halifax 0. In the Gallagher Premiership this afternoon, 2 games: Exeter Chiefs leading Northampton Saints 26-14 at half-time, and Chris Jones is watching Leicester against Saracens.
It's half-time here. Leicester 12, Saracens 10. Very nearly a bigger lead for Leicester, but Dan Kelly was adjudged to being held up over the line right on the stroke of half-time. Kelly earlier opened the scoring, intercepting Farrell's pass to go over. Farrell was involved in the beauty of a Saracens try finished by Tom Parton. Matt Rogerton then hit back and ensured that Leicester have the lead at half-time with their second try. They're getting forward dominance, the Tigers, but just a slender lead at the moment. Leicester 12, Saracens 10 at half-time.
No Scottish Premiership this afternoon. Half-times elsewhere. Scottish Championship, the leaders Wraith Rovers, who were pegged back by that amazing goalkeeper goal against Arbroath. They're struggling again this afternoon. They trail Airdrieonians by a goal to 0 at half-time. It's Ayr United 0, Inverness 1. Dundee United, who are second in the table, 2, Morton 2, and Partick 1, Arbroath 0. In Scottish League 1, the leaders Falkirk currently drawing 0-0 with Queen of the South. It's Cove Rangers 2, Kelty Hearts 0. The top scorer in the league, Ruben Burrell, now has 18 for the season. Annan 1, Montrose 1, and Alloa Athletic 1, Edinburgh City 0. And in Scottish League 2 so far this afternoon, the leaders Stanhouse Muir lead Forfar by a goal to 0. They would go 13 points clear at the top because second place Peterhead are drawing 0-0 with Spartans. It's Elgin 0, Stranraer 1, Dumbarton 0, East Fife 1, and Clyde 3, Bonnyrigg Rose 0. You're up to date with all the live scores. We've got second half commentary to come from the Priestfield in the FA Cup, and then Middlesbrough versus Aston Villa in full at 5:30. Let's get the news now on 5 Live with Jill Mackenzie.
Listen on BBC Sounds. This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
The Iranian-backed militant group Hezbollah has fired dozens of rockets into northern Israel from southern Lebanon. It described the barrage as a preliminary response to the killing of a top Hamas official in Beirut earlier this week. The Israeli military says it has responded. A 16-year-old boy has appeared in court charged with the murder of a teenager in North London on New Year's Eve. Harry Pittman had been at Primrose Hill to watch the fireworks. Victims of the Post Office Horizon IT scandal have welcomed the news that the Metropolitan Police has expanded its investigation. Officers are looking into whether there was any criminality involved in the wrongful convictions of hundreds of sub-postmasters. And a passenger jet has made an emergency landing in the US state of Oregon after a window blew out during a flight. Alaska Airlines has grounded its fleet of Boeing 737 MAX 9 planes pending an investigation.
Betrayal, lies, deceit. Doesn't that sound like fun? Welcome to The Traitors, where 22 people play the ultimate game of treachery for a big cash prize.
I want to catch a traitor.
I don't trust anyone.
Play it dirty, and you might come out on top. Play it nice, and you could end up 6 feet under.
Prepare for the worst, hope for the best.
The Traitors. Watch on BBC iPlayer.
This is 5 Live Sports with Steve Crossman.
On 5 Live. Listen on BBC Sounds.
Right, big FA Cup story already today. For the first time since 2008, a National League South side has qualified for the 4th round of the FA Cup. Maidstone United beating Stevenage by a 1-0. Here's the goalscorer, Sam Corn.
Outstanding. Listen, we had to believe we may get this far, and it's come true. And every boy in there and every bit of the management are delighted.
Your manager has just said that on the balance of play, he felt you deserved it. On the playing field, did you get that sense as well?
Listen, I thought we created the better opportunities. Maybe not clear-cut, but I thought we was always within a chance. There's moments in the games where we had to dug deep and ride our luck in the second half, but that's the magic of the FA Cup. And then, we got the job done.
And your penalty got the job done. When you get a penalty, FA Cup, all the stories and on all the magnitude of what today was for everyone, and it's on your responsibility, your shoulders to put the penalty away. What are you thinking?
Obviously, I had won the game prior, and I went right side, and a few of the boys were talking today in the change room about where you're going to go, and I changed it, and lucky enough it paid off, and it was a massive relief. But what a moment for myself.
That's Sam Cohen with Chris Coles. Their manager George Elokobi will be with us on Sports Report. Earlier, Newcastle beat Sunderland 3-0 at the Stadium of Light, so they're through to round 4. Here's Eddie Howe with John Murray.
You don't, I would imagine, have too many more satisfying days as the manager of Newcastle United than to stand inside the Stadium of Light after a victory, do you?
Yeah, I mean, I think, of course, that's hugely important, and it's hugely important to our supporters and to everyone connected with the club. For me, the bigger picture is really important. We got back to performing at our best levels, and after the recent run we've had, we were well aware of how big this game was in our season. Delighted to have won it and performed very well.
Yes, I think you could sense that there was a determination to do the job right today. Did you feel that? Because without question, there was pressure.
There's always pressure from a number of different directions when you're playing for Newcastle, but we did want to do today right, and we've wanted to do every game right this season. We've been delivered some really tough blows, some hard experiences, but I always think that makes you grow, and today was a really tough game. We knew the importance of how we started today to try and quieten the crowd. I thought we did that really well in the opening stages of the game. I thought we managed the big moments in the game very well, and we got some good goals.
That's Eddie Howe speaking to John Murray. Let's go back to Priestfield. Teams about to make their way out for the second half. Gillingham 0, Sheffield United 2. Ian Dennis and Nathan Jones there. Nathan, I mean, I know this goes without saying, but it's a long way back for Gillingham.
It is, and look, I think the first 15 minutes will tell us a lot about what we need to know. For me, it'd be all about tempo, fast start, showing quality in that final third, and really testing Sheffield United early on, see if we can get the next goal. It's a cliche, massive cliche, but the next goal is so vital. If Sheffield United get it, it's done and dusted. If Gillingham get it, game on.
But we never rule anything out, especially not in the FA Cup, Ian.
No, but Sheffield United are in a very, very handy position indeed. Thank you, Steve. So Sheffield United's players are coming back out here. We're waiting for Gillingham of League Two. Doesn't look like Chris Wilder has made any alterations at half-time. So we can run through the Sheffield United side. Fotheringham in goal, back four of Sareki, Norrington, Davis, Robinson and Thomas, Norwood, McAtee, Harmer and Brooks, with Archer and Asola, who's got both the goals. The young Danish forward, before today, hadn't scored at all, but now he's bagged two for Sheffield United as we wait for Gillingham. So what do you think that Stephen Clements will have been saying to his players when you're 2-0 down against Premier League opposition?
I think it'd be mixed, really. I think overall, he'll have an element of satisfaction in the fact that they have created certain things, not loads, but certain things. He'll be disappointed with the goals he's conceded, and then now you've got to put that behind you, and now you've got to say, right, how do we start? And I think this first 15 minutes, they've got to come out of the trap. They've got to go at Sheffield United, they've got to test, because if not, this could become a walk in the park, and they don't want to do that. For Sheffield United, I'm sure they'll want to continue in the same vein. They'll want to keep this lead, and then they'll unleash the Chilean duel that is Ben Brereton Diaz for what could be his debut today.
Yes, international clearance came through today. Signed him on loan from Villarreal yesterday. Didn't actually score for Villarreal. And in 20 appearances as Gillingham take to the field in their white and royal blue shirts and white shorts. And likewise, it doesn't appear that Stephen Clements has made a change. So Jake Turner in goal. Back three of Ogie, Aymer and Masterson. Alexander and Malone, the wing-backs. Jeffries, Mahoney and Coleman. Nadesan and Hawkins are the two up front. Should say as well on the BBC Sport website this week, there was a lovely piece about Stephen Clements, talking about his regret that he never saw his father Ray, never got to see him be a manager, because that was always that he wanted to do. Of course, he passed just over 3 years ago. But Ray was an ambassador for prostate cancer, and Stephen's son Jack, who was very close to his grandfather Ray, is actually running 10k a week for Prostate Cancer's Run the Month initiative. It was his own idea to raise awareness for prostate cancer, and he's already raised somewhere in the region of £1,500, and I think he's here today with the rest of the family for Stephen. But it's a lovely gesture for a very worthwhile cause, and if you haven't had a chance to read it, then go on the BBC Sport website, because Stephen talks with great fondness about the FA Cup and all that it meant for the Clements family, and how they missed out on an 87 Cup Winners' medal, that they would have actually had one each then for Stephen and his two sisters, Sarah and Julie. But it's really is an excellent piece and very, very poignant. So we're underway here at Priestfield. Sheffield United lead by 2-0, 2 goals from Asula. So red and white striped shirts, black shorts. They're playing from left to right as we look. We'll keep it busy in this second half, because we're at every other FA Cup tie, including that one at Newport. Lawrence Herdman.
Well, what a start to the second half from Eastleigh. They've just hit the post and they're on the attack as we speak, and cries for a penalty. It was Chris Maguire, the former Sunderland striker, who got round the back of the county defence. Left side, powerful right foot shot, and it crashed against the upright, with Newport keeper Nick Townsend beaten. Still 0-0, Eastleigh down to 10.
Thank you, Lawrence. So here we are with Sheffield United. Update from Vicarage Road. Remember, the National League leaders Chesterfield could cause an upset. John Bennett.
Chance here for Watford though, one-on-one. Martins, his shot is saved, but Chesterfield still 1-0 up. They should be 2-0 up. Just a few minutes ago, Ollie Banks with a brilliant chance. Half volley shot saved by Daniel Batman, the Watford keeper. Watford rattled. Watford 0, Chesterfield 1.
Sports report at 5 o'clock, and then we're on to our third commentary on BBC Radio 5 Live from the Riverside. Middlesbrough against Aston Villa, as Sheffield United play the ball forward, and then the cross cut back and cut out by Aymer, and cleared away by Gillingham. A goal at home park now, John Akers.
And it's for the team who are second bottom of the Football League. Sutton are level. Plymouth 1, Sutton 1, straight ball through the middle. Lee Angle cuts on into his left foot and slams it past the keeper. Plymouth 1, Sutton 1.
Here is Sheffield United. Brooks with the turn. McAtee with a little layup. Brooks has continued that run, and in the end it's dug out by Aymer with a clearance only as far as Sireki. Now it's with Harmer coming inside. The return ball from McAtee. Harmer's kept it with his going for Sheffield United. This is McAtee back towards Harmer, scoop back towards McAtee, little touch, it might run towards him, right side of the 6-yard box in the penalty area. Sireki plays it back, now with Norwood, now with the Sheffield United right back. They're looking for this third goal to put the tie to bed for Sheffield United. Archer now, Archer's shot blocked, kneed up in the air by Shadrach Ogie, and eventually it's lifted away, but Gillingham struggling to get out their own half, Nathan Jones.
Yeah, I think there's only 3 minutes gone. But there's a little swagger about Sheffield United at the minute. They come out, they're playing little intricate passes. They're having a little bit of confidence in their play, and as I say, Darren said, arrogance in their play. And it's only 3 minutes, so something has to change here for Gillingham to get back in it.
BBC Radio 5 Live, BBC Sounds and the World Service at Priestfield, the home for Gillingham since it was formed 131 years ago. Although the capacity is listed as 11,500, there's only around 9,000 here, as they had an opportunity to send over the cross on the left-hand side, and it was blocked, but it goes behind for a corner. If Gillingham could get a goal back, it would make it interesting.
It's exactly what the game needs, otherwise this has, the capacity to just peter out. But I said, we're only talking 5 minutes, but Sheffield United come out and started really well. But Gillingham need to make the most of these. We'll have a look now. For me, it's an out-swinging corner.
Well, they are playing from right to left, and it's on this near side the left, so it should be an out-swinger from Mahoney, but the flag was up. It's gone out of play, and it will be a Sheffield United ball. Another goal at Queen's Park Rangers, John Hunt.
And Bournemouth back in this. Queen's Park Rangers 2, Bournemouth 1. We've played 3 minutes of the second half. The goal will probably go down to Tavernier, a well-worked corner. His shot, though, seemed to take a deflection, I think, off Jimmy Dunn. No matter, Bournemouth back in the game. Queen's Park Rangers 2, Bournemouth 1.
Thank you, John. Little flick on by Asula. Nathan.
For me, that's the biggest thing that when you come up against a side that a few divisions are in, you've got to take every chance. You've got to have your moments. You've got to make the most of those moments, and that's how you cause an upset. But at the minute, they've had probably 6 set plays and opportunities to create chances, and only 1 have been on the money. You see there, a left footer taking an out swinger with the size and aggression that they have straight into the keeper's hands, even though it'd gone out. They're not making the most of these, and that's probably the biggest thing that'll disappoint Stephen Clements.
Here is Robinson, slides a diagonal ball towards Brooks, holds on to the ball, forced back though into the halfway line. Now with Norrington Davis out towards that far side, back with the Welsh international. Brooks gives it back. There've been a flurry of goals, and including one of our featured games in the Football League. It's in League One, it's at Cheltenham. It involves the leaders, Portsmouth, Laura Kenyon.
Yeah, Cheltenham 1, Portsmouth 1. You can hear the home crowd. The league leaders initially went ahead from a deflected own goal at close range, but moments later, Liam Sercombe with the equaliser. It's Cheltenham 1, Portsmouth 1.
Derby County earlier beat Fleetwood Town in the early kick-off by 3-1. Paul Warne's side going well. They were 4th this morning. Charlie Adam, of course, was appointed as the new Fleetwood manager over the new year, as Asula, who's on a hat-trick running forward for Sheffield United, who lead by 2-0. Now with Harmer, right corner of the area. McAtee takes it into the penalty area, runs out towards the right-hand side, ball glued to his boot. Sireki now with Harmer once again. Sheffield United in front of their travelling support, as this is Sireki down towards the byline, loses his balance, falls to the floor, goes to ground. No free kick. It'll be a goal kick instead to Gillingham. Nathan.
I've enjoyed watching McAtee, his movement, his balance, the way he does. He's probably, I don't want to over egg it, but like a young Bernardo Silva here, and I know obviously he'd be someone he'd want to emulate at Man City, but the way that he moves, his balance, the things he sees, the simplicity in his game, and then when he needs to add quality, he can. Really enjoy watching him.
Brooks charging forward, mazy run by Brooks. He did ever so well to evade a couple of challenges, and then the ball has been cleared out of play by Masterson and out for a throw. Where will we go next then on 5 Live? And it's to Southampton and Paul Scott.
7 minutes gone in the second half. Still Southampton 1, Walsall 0, but the visitors have just had a really good opportunity. It should be 1-1. A loose pass from Mason Holgate. Jack Earing in the box, 1-on-1 with Joe Lumley. He sent his shot wide. Still Saints 1, Walsall 0.
We're 7.5 minutes into this second half, and Sheffield United, would you say they're still comfortable, Nathan? In fact, we'll get Nathan's opinion on that in a minute, but we're going to go to Newport first of all. A goal for Lawrence Erdman.
Big noise inside Rodney Parade because the home side had taken the lead. Newport County 1, 10-man Eastleigh 0. It was a corner on the right from Shane McLaughlin, almost like the old Teddy Sheringham routine, low and flat, and James Clark stroked it beyond Joe McDonnell in the Eastleigh goal. It's Newport 1, non-league Eastleigh 0.
They've only lost 1 of their last 8 at home have Newport County, and Eastleigh of course are down to 10 men. The FA Cup third round Saturday afternoon. We brought you in the Weir Tyne derby, Sunderland 0, Newcastle United 3, Leicester City, Maidstone United of National League South, Coventry City and Ipswich Town in those early games are also through into the 4th round draw, which is on Monday night. Tomorrow, 5 Live Sport from midday. Peterborough against Leeds United is the early game. Arsenal-Liverpool on BBC One from 4:30. But here we are at Priestfield, and Gillingham of League Two are looking for a way back into this FA Cup tie to give their supporters something to cheer. It's a long free kick. It's headed on by Hawkins. It's partially headed away. Aymer is there again. Hawkins on the far side heads it on. Aymer volleys it across and behind for a corner kick. Let's see what they can do in this set piece, Nathan.
Yeah, look, it's not, it's not rocket science. It's not anything that we haven't said. Sheffield United looking comfortable, but in the moments that the Gillingham have had, they've come from things like this. Set plays come from Ollie Hawkins causing problems, and that, I feel, is Gillingham's way back in.
Burton are leading Wycombe by 1-0 in League One. Burton 1, Wycombe 0. Gillingham trail 2-0. Corner kick far side the right in front of the Raynham end. It's an in-swinger and the header. It was Hawkins, just couldn't get something on it. As there's another goal at Cheltenham in League One, Laura Kenyon.
It's Cheltenham 2, Portsmouth 1. The league leaders trail, and it's Liam Sercombe again. Defensive mistake hammered home the finish. Absolute scenes here at Whaddon Road. What a spell of football. Cheltenham 2, Portsmouth 1.
Exeter City only one win in 16 in League One, and leading Carlisle by 1-0 at St James's Park. That was a chance for Gillingham, wasn't it?
Absolutely, and it's everything they'd want. If they could have a chance, you'd want Ollie Hawkins with a relatively free header from 5 or 6 yards.
They've had 3 good headers. One of them wouldn't have counted because the flag was up. Fotheringham had made 2 good saves in the first half. But he's aware of it, Stephen Clements, about this problem that they've got of not scoring enough goals of late. And they've got to start taking their chances. Somebody who's just taken a chance, there's been a goal at Stoke City, Pat Murphy.
Lewis Dunk has taken the chance. A short corner, Stoke fell asleep. They didn't get the marking right. There at the far post, Dunk back in the side, scored in front of the Brighton fans. It's Stoke 1, Brighton 2. 2 goals in 6 minutes for Brighton.
So Brighton have come from behind to lead there against the Championship side. Harmer with a dipping effort that he hit right-footed, and that wasn't too far off target. Goal kick 2-0 to the Blades.
No, trademark from Gustavo Harmer. That did it plenty of times in his Coventry days, and has done it, I think, since he's come here, coming inside on his right foot. Wonderful technician and just past the post.
14 without a goal. His last goal was against Tottenham in mid-September. As the Sheffield United supporters just hounding the goalkeeper Jake Turner, who may regret his hand in both of the goals that Sheffield United scored in the first half. As there's a chance now for Malone, but the ball in from the left-hand side is easily dealt with by Norrington Davis. I think here is Ogie for Gillingham, just looking still to get a foothold into the game, and then bouncing ball towards Dom Jeffries, the midfielder, the club's young player of the year last year, and in his eagerness to try and take it early, bounced over his left foot and out for a throw.
Scott Malone's had a couple of opportunities there to put the ball in and with the box loaded and hit the first man and not shown that quality, which is a surprise because he made a living out of doing that, and a good one at that. That blue sky has disappeared.
It definitely has now. Floodlights in full effect as darkness descends on Priestfield. As we'll get an update from Vicarage Road. Chesterfield against Watford. John Bennett.
Chesterfield still have the 1-goal lead, but they're living dangerously. Another chance for Watford. They've had 4 or 5 chances. That one was cleared over the bar. Mateus Martins had a good effort which went wide as well, but Chesterfield still lead. Watford 0, Chesterfield 1.
2019 was the last time that Gillingham reached round 4 under Steve Lovell. They beat Cardiff City, who were then a struggling Premier League side. Sheffield United struggling in the top flight, but are leading 2-0 here. Another goal at Southampton, Paul Scott.
12 minutes played in the second half. It is Southampton 2, Walsall 0. A swift counter-attack from right to left, resulting in Ryan Fraser crossing for Sekumara, a swivel 6 yards out and a finish into the roof of the net. Southampton 2, Walsall 0.
That is on Sports Extra if you wanted commentary. Incidentally, Gillingham have a number of famous supporters that includes Joe Wilkinson, the comedian, who's actually host of Five Live's My Mate's a Footballer podcast that he hosts with Patrick Bamford, the Leeds United striker, and Joe Wilkinson is here today. I'm not too sure whether Nick Collins, the former Sky chief football reporter, and Oz Clark, the wine expert, are here as well. But Gillingham are going to make a couple of changes. There's been another goal at Queen's Park Rangers, John Hunt.
And it's now Queen's Park Rangers 2, Bournemouth 2. The equalisers come from a corner. Kiefer Moore at the near post, just ahead of veteran goalkeeper Asmir Begovic, just seconds after Begovic had made a fantastic double save. Bournemouth right back in this. Queen's Park Rangers 2, Bournemouth 2.
Well, they're going to make a couple of changes, and Nichols is going to be coming on, who scored twice against Premier League opposition in his career. He scored against Chelsea in his days for Peterborough at Stamford Bridge 6 years ago. In the previous season, he scored for Exeter against Liverpool. So Tom Nichols is on. He replaces Ashley Nadesan, and then the other change was it was Alexander, the right wing back, going off, and Jaden Clark coming on. I think they're going to go to a flat back four now, do you think?
It doesn't look like, doesn't it? It looks like they're still staying with that back five. I think they've just gone, obviously, a like-for-like change up front. I've had a couple of battles myself with Tom Nichols in my twilight days as a career.
Was that when you were at Yeovil?
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, 517 appearances as a player. That's a very good effort, isn't it, in your playing career?
I think you've done me thing. I think it's 583. I think the others are cup games, but we always count the cup games being a football, and about 50 good ones.
Headed through. You're a man who's up with his stats. I didn't go for your games as a manager. It's probably a good job, but I got that wrong too. What did he say earlier about when you're a good man if you acknowledge and you get things wrong?
Exactly.
The ball over the top towards Archer for Sheffield United. Archer cuts inside. Archer tries for the shooting opportunity. Nicks it through to McAtee. Hits it early first time, left footed. Just popped up over the top. Goal kick. Sheffield United still lead 2-0. Bradford City have equalised at home to Crawley in League 2. Bradford City 1, Crawley 1, and latest score. An hour played, and still no sign of Gillingham really get back into this, Nathan.
No, look, it's to be fair, the crowd are doing their part. The crowd are trying to lift them, but at the minute they haven't got much to get behind. But that's what you want from a home crowd. Shows that they're a good crowd, that they are trying to drive the team on, and it only takes one chance, one goal it would take for the whole picture to change here.
Yeah, next goal is crucial. McAtee takes it on. Ogie goes with him, gets across. Will try and prevent the ball going out for a corner, but doesn't succeed. So Sheffield United in front of that open stand away towards our right-hand side. The great Brian Moore stand towards our right. 1,500 hardy souls making the trek down from South Yorkshire. Corner is taken short to McAtee. Back to Harmer. Harmer plays it back. Asula was there, and then it comes towards Archer, who, 12 yards out, right-footed, rifles the ball over the crossbar. Still 2-0 to Sheffield United.
Yeah, intelligent play there. They obviously know they can't just put the ball in the box because of the size that Gillingham are and the mismatch there. So real well-worked, clever set play with Bernardo McAtee there, and showing good quality.
They never, in fact, did hit the 9,000 target. After all, 8,809 is the official attendance here at Priestfield, where Gillingham of League 2 still trail by 2-0. You're listening to 5 Live, BBC Sounds and the World Service. And Stephen Clements, Robbie Stockdale as his assistant, down below, hoping to see their side change, but Chris Wilder looks relatively relaxed down there as he just has a word with Keith Andrews and Alan Nill. Fotheringham with the 2 saves in the first half, but so far in this second period there's been nothing to trouble them.
No, it's been relatively comfortable, and that was the fear, getting to that 15-minute mark where they hadn't come out of the traps, they hadn't really gone after Sheffield United. And if I'm honest, you always feel the Sheffield United go up a level as well, not just with this side here, but you look at the bench, McBurney, Brereton, Diaz, they Brewster, they have players they can bring on here, Ben Osborne, they have players there they can bring on with experience, quality, energy, and and to take the game away from Gillingham. So look, it's looking at the minute as if this is going to be a routine result.
You talk about quality, it's oozing out of McAtee at the moment. He just went with a strong run on the right hand side. Here he is on the ball once again, back towards Harmer, nicks it in field. Archer takes over into the penalty area. Archer's shot is pushed away, took a deflection I think on its way through by the keeper. Kept alive by Sireki on this near side. Back towards McAtee once again. Left-footed cross. Asula was there, but just in front of him was Conor Masterton to head the ball behind for a corner kick to Sheffield United.
Yeah, look, Sheffield now have taken the total control of this game. They've got a real grip on it, a real hold on it. The ball in and around the Gillingham box for a while now with no respite. You just feel it's a matter of time to get that third goal, which ultimately would be the killer.
Corner played in low from that left-hand side. It was aimed towards Asula. Burton 1, Wickham 1. Wickham have equalised. Sam Vokes has scored midway through the second half in League One. Port Vale 1, Charlton 2 is the latest score in League One as well. And Plymouth 2, Sutton 1 is a latest score in the FA Cup third round at Home Park. So Plymouth now leading against Sutton United. Back in front, they were 1-0 up, they were pegged back, but Ryan Hardy from the penalty spot has put Plymouth 2-1 up. 65 minutes played. Gillingham just looking for something to maybe try and spark them in this third round tie. Let's go to John Akers indeed at Home Park.
Yeah, I'd say, Deno, this was against the run of play. Sutton have been doing really well, but Argyle now are finding their rhythm a bit. It was Coley who brought down Whittaker, and Ryan Hardy smashed it down the middle. Argyle 2, Sutton 1.
Thank you, John. We talk about yet to win away from home. Sheffield United. Clean sheets have been a bit of a rarity as well. Only 2 clean sheets in 21 games so far this season, but they're on course to register here today. We'll go back to Newport County in the Cup. Lawrence Herdman.
It's still Newport 1 up against 10-man Eastleigh, but Eastleigh so close to an equaliser. Scott Quigley down the right side of the Newport penalty area, low cross, and top scorer Paul McCallum mishit a shot from a couple of yards out, and Townsend saved. Cracking cup tie. Newport 1, Eastleigh 0.
As far as the neutral's concerned, this cup tie's never really caught hold, has it?
No, and that's probably that's the thing that probably Clem will be a little bit disappointed about, that they haven't had more moments where they can really test Sheffield United. And it's a young Sheffield United side, that's the only disappointing thing for me, is if they really have a go at this side and test them, then look, I'm sure there's more to be had.
One cup tie that sounds like it's been a bit of a belter is at Blackburn. Maz Faruqi.
Blackburn perhaps have this one wrapped up now. Blackburn 4, Cambridge 2. Arnold Sigurdsson eventually finding the back of the net. It's been all the Championship side in the second half, and they now have the 2-goal cushion. 4-2.
There was a high cross from the left-hand side. Looked like an outstretched arm. Of course, there's no VAR. It was for Masterson at the back as his header back into the penalty area. Penalty at Stoke City, meanwhile. Pat Murphy.
Penalty for Stoke has just been converted by Lewis Baker. It's now Stoke 2, Brighton 2. Lewis Dunk, who scored the second goal for Brighton. The ball hit his arm as he went up to a corner. Disputed penalty, but the score stands. Stoke 2, Brighton 2.
So elsewhere, Bournemouth are also being held by Championship opposition. Queen's Park Rangers 2, Bournemouth 2. Stoke 2, Brighton 2, and remember Chesterfield, the National League leaders, 63 places beneath Watford of the Championship, are still leading by 1-0 to go along with the earlier upset of Maidstone United of National League South, knocking out Stevenage of League One by 1-0. Update now in the rugby at Leicester. Chris Jones.
Big Leicester try. Their scrum is totally dominant, and with front foot ball, Andre Pollard sent a beautiful pass. Harry Simmons scampered over. Pollard converted magnificently. 18 to go. Leicester lead 19-10 over Saracens.
Nichols had a sight of goal, but as the effort was blocked anyway, the flag had been raised. Has he made much of a difference for you since coming on, Tom Nichols?
No, but I'm not sure that's just down to him, if I'm honest. I think all the play has been in the Gillingham half, so I think if you get the ball into that half and can get some quality possession, then I'm sure he will have an impact. But as you said, that was simple enough again. Left side, left back puts it into to Ollie Hawkins. He wins his header, and just a mistimed run from Nichols, otherwise he was in.
Port Vale 2, Charlton 2 is the latest score in League One. Another goal at Southampton in the Cup. Paul Scott.
This one might be over now. 69 minutes on the clock, and it's Southampton 3, Walsall 0. Ryan Fraser has grabbed his second. He was in the inside left position, a right-footed shot bending into the opposite bottom corner. Saints, the Championship side, 3-0 up now on League 2 Walsall.
Commentary of that continues on Sports Extra. Here we are at Priestfield. We're midway through the second half. BBC Radio 5 Live and the World Service, where Gillingham of League 2 still trail against Sheffield United by 2-0. So still plenty of time for Stephen Clements' side if they were able to try and reduce the arrears. As Ogie to Aymer. Now out towards that right-hand side. It loses the ball, and Sheffield United with Norrington Davis go back to their keeper, and in fact we're going to see Ryan Brewster come on, and also a debut for Sheffield United's new acquisition, Ben Brereton Diaz, who they signed yesterday from Villarreal. International clearance came through in time, so as you predicted, Nathan, he'll get a run out for 20 minutes remaining as Gillingham are attacking. Cross comes in from the left. Norwood, they're appealing for handball. They lose the ball. Ball played in field now. It's helped out towards Mahoney, who shoots, and Mahoney
scored
with a corner kick. I actually thought that had gone in at one stage.
I think the whole ground did. It's weird. I mean, every time it's like a Bermuda Triangle down there. Every time the ball goes down there, you don't know where this actually ends up.
Even the crowd behind the goal at one stage thought that it had gone in. He hit it right-footed, but Fotheringham with the save. It's a corner kick to Gillingham, far side. It's an in-swinger, and the header from Hawkins inside the 6-yard box. Over behind for another corner kick. Goal at Queen's Park Rangers, Sean Hunt.
Bournemouth have come from behind to lead. QPR 2, Bournemouth 3, tapped in from 2 yards out by substitute Justin Kluivert. Bournemouth ahead for the first time, 70 minutes gone. QPR 2, Bournemouth 3.
We can all of a sudden hear Gillingham voices, and that hasn't happened on too many occasions this afternoon. They have a corner kick. It's an outswinger from this near side the left. Masterton heads it back. Clark, side onto goal. Plays the ball back out towards Masterson. Cross now from the right. McAtee with a cushion header. Asula takes it in his stride, opens it up, and now they've got a break on Sheffield United, and it's Sireki striding forward on this near side, but held up by Malone. Out of play it goes for a throw. So Brewster's going to come on, and Brereton Diaz is also waiting to come on. And as the changes happen here, we'll get the team news from our next commentary. It's at the Riverside, Vicky Sparks.
Both sides go strong. Middlesbrough against Aston Villa. Influential midfielder Hayden Hackney's back from injury for Borough in one of 2 changes. 4 Villa alterations. Watkins and Louise among those dropping to the bench as they look to reach the 4th round for the first time since 2016.
Neil Lennon with Vicky for commentary after Sports Report at 5:30. This double change is taking a while. We'll get the team news from Stamford Bridge. Chelsea, Preston, Henry Moran.
Well, Chelsea in good form make 4 changes from the win at Luton last weekend. No Gallagher, Madueke, Silva or Jackson coming in. Sterling, Fernandes, Mudryk and a debut for defender Alfie Gilchrist. 2 changes for Preston up front. Will Keane and Militant Ogbajic coming into the side.
That game, by the way, is live on the BBC iPlayer as well as radio commentary on Sports Extra for Chelsea against Preston. Sheffield Wednesday, Cardiff, Swansea against Morecambe are the 2 other 5:30 kickoffs in the FA Cup 3rd round. So Brereton Diaz is on, as is Brewster, and the players that went off were Asula, who's got 2 goals, and also Cameron Archer. So let's see what Brereton Diaz can do.
And it probably took 5 minutes to make that substitution, and in between that 5 minutes the psychology of the substitutions would have changed, because they were cruising a 2-0 down, a 2-0 up, bring those on, give them a nice run out. Brewster from after injury, Brereton Diaz after his signing, but now Gillingham have actually woken up a little bit, so now it could be that signing to now see the game out.
It seems bizarre that they're playing with, I'm not saying a greater belief, where the supporters have come alive a little bit more when they're 2-0 down and only a quarter of the game remains.
But it's simple, really. You know, supporters want something to get behind. So if they see chances, shots, if they see territory, if they see, you know, opportunities or tackles or something, they'll get behind that. That then raises the atmosphere, and then, you know, you generate that little an environment here where it's difficult to play against, and that's what Gillingham need to do.
Here is Brereton Diaz on his debut, looking for Brooks. There was Jeffries with the interception for Gillingham. Salford 1, Forest Green 2 is the latest score in League 2, as the ball played up towards Jeffries goes out of play, and it will be a Gillingham throw. So in the 3 o'clock kickoffs, this could be an upset at Vicarage Road. John Bennett.
Yeah, still on the cards. Watford 0, Chesterfield 1. They've had to weather a storm. Chesterfield, Mileta Rajovic is on, Watford's top scorer, off the bench. But Chesterfield have brought on Will Grigg, who's been an FA Cup hero in the past. Watford 0, Chesterfield, the National League side, 1.
Zareki for Sheffield United, still leading 2-0. At a walking pace is McAtee. Robinson, midway through the Gillingham half, now finds Thomas. Brereton Diaz, who's primarily operating on the left since he's come onto the field for Sheffield United, still with those 2 first half goals. Exeter have got a second goal at home to Carlisle. Exeter 2, Carlisle 0 is the latest score in League 1. And we're watching the red and white stripes of Sheffield United with just over 15 minutes remaining here on BBC Radio 5 Live. Sports report coming up with Steve Crossman, the results and the reaction before Middlesbrough Aston Villa, and then that'll be followed by 6:06 at 7:30, 08085 909 693, as unable to take advantage in the midfield was Jeffries, and then Hawkins can't control the ball and it goes through to Thomas. Meanwhile, a goal at Stoke, Pat Murphy.
To Brighton, 3-2 now from João Pedro, best player on the pitch. Lovely glancing header, great work by Gross, who put the ball across. Stoke 2, Brighton 3.
Nichols running forward. 2 Sheffield United players stop that run, left side of the penalty area. And then in that gloomy area of the field, it's cleared away by Sheffield United up towards Brewster. Ogie, very tight towards him, was manhandling him a little bit, and the referee Darren Bond has said that's a free kick, and there's going to be, I think Sousa's going to be coming on just to maybe try and just shore things up for the last quarter of an hour in the midfield for Sheffield United, who have a 2-week break after this, especially now that there's no third round replay in the offing before they're at home to West Ham United 2 weeks tomorrow. Commentary of course on 5 Live. There's been a goal at Vicarage Road. John Bennett.
Relief for Watford. Watford 1, Chesterfield 1. The equaliser from the top scorer who came off the bench, Mileta Rajovic, cross from the left hand side, he headed in. Can Chesterfield get another goal to keep this upset on the cards? Watford 1, Chesterfield 1.
Mind you, they certainly wouldn't fancy a replay at Saltergate, would they? Paul Cook's got them firing this season.
No, looking, but just for Paul Cook to be competing, because Watford are a big club in the division. They've been in the Premier League, would have players that would have cost many millions, and then for Paul Cook to go there to take them on shows what a good place they're in.
I'll run through all the scores, not only in the FA Cup but also in the lower leagues very, very soon. Brooks is the player who's going to be coming off, the 20-year-old midfielder, and Vinny Sousa, the Brazilian, is coming on. Fresh pair of legs for Chris Wilder's side. 13 minutes remaining. I'll tell you what, I'll give you the latest scores in League 2. The early game, the Yorkshire Derby, Simon Weaver's Harrogate Town beat Doncaster Rovers by 3-1. Latest scores though in League 2. Barrow 0, Tranmere Rovers 0, Bradford City 1, Crawley Town 1, Mansfield 0, Crawley 1. Missed opportunity maybe for Mansfield to go top of the table, and also I think that would end their unbeaten home record at Field Mill. I'll break off because there's a penalty at Newport.
It's a penalty to Eastleigh. Top scorer Paul McCallum was wrestled to the ground by a Newport County defender, and the penalty will be entrusted to Chris Maguire, with all that Football League pedigree, former Sunderland striker who were knocked out earlier today, and now Chris Maguire with one of the most important penalty kicks he will take in front of a packed away end full of blue and white Eastleigh supporters. He'll take it with his right foot, and he waits and he poises himself and he strikes with his right foot, and Eastleigh have equalised. Nick Townsend went the wrong way and Chris Maguire has got Eastleigh level. Newport County 1, 10-man Eastleigh 1.
So not only have we got Maidstone United who've knocked out Stevenage of National League South in the fourth round draw, we could still have Chesterfield with National League representation as well as Eastleigh, because they are currently holding Watford and Newport County. And just to finish off those latest scores in League 2, Mansfield 0, Crewe 1, Salford 1, Forest Green 2, Swindon lead Colchester United by 2-1. We're going to Southampton after this free kick for Gillingham, still looking for a way back in the tie, trailing at home by 2-0, 11 minutes remaining. Mahoney to take it, left hand side, and the header is in. Oh no, it hits the post. Oh, that was so unlucky. It was Aymer who got up from the back, glanced the header, and it struck almost the inside of the right hand post, came back across the face of goal and didn't go in.
Chance, big chance, really unlucky. Great ball in again from Mahoney. Aymer with a glancing header, but he was just spinning the wrong way.
Goal at Southampton though, Paul Scott.
Southampton running riot in the second half. They have a fourth with 13 minutes to play. It's Shea Adams, the substitute, getting in on the act after good play between Carlos Alcaraz and Ryan Fraser. Southampton heading to the fourth round. They lead 4-0 against Walsall.
Sheffield United on the counter-attack had a chance. Brewster though denied by the goalkeeper Jake Turner.
It's a poor finish. Yeah, he's clean in. The goalkeeper didn't narrow the angle at all for me. If you see it again, I think he's in the middle of the goal. I think he leaves a big gap for him to slot it in, and Brewster has to do better there.
His record since he arrived for just over £23 million isn't particularly great. 5 goals he scored in 70 appearances. His last goal was actually in October of 2022 against Stoke City. 5 Live. The World Service, where Bradford City have come from behind and lead Crawley by 2-1 in League 2. No other goals to tell you about in the Cup, but Barrow are leading Tranmere Rovers by 1-0. Tranmere, who've won their last 4, are behind there in Cumbria. The Sheffield United still with this 2-goal cushion in this FA Cup tie with 10 minutes remaining of normal time. The ball is played back, Norrington Davis. Now to Thomas, hits it early. Brereton Diaz makes the run. They were complaining about him being offside. They get a flag had stayed down on this near side. It's a corner kick to Sheffield United. It's just starting to open up the game now, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. There's really chances at both ends there, and it's what the game needs, you know. I think 10 minutes left. Probably 3, 4, 5 minutes of injury time. I think Gillingham have to go for it now. It really doesn't matter if you lose 3 or 4 if you're having a go to get this deficit back, because you never know. One goal could change the atmosphere again.
Corner kick for Sheffield United. It's an in-swinger, headed out by Hawkins. Helped further away then on the edge of the penalty area as the ball then is Jeffries. It's played back in, claimed by the goalkeeper Jake Turner. Holds on to the ball and then rolls it out underarm. And now maybe Gillingham can just try and summon something up in the 9 minutes that remain, as it's rolled towards Shadrach Ogie. Another goal at Ewood Park, Maz Faruqi.
A fifth for Blackburn, a header this time from substitute Harry Leonard. Remember, they were trailing twice in this game, Blackburn. They now lead Cambridge 5-2.
Brewster is being held back there. It'll be a free kick to Sheffield United, and indeed there will be a yellow card shown to Ethan Coleman. The result in League 1 then earlier was Fleetwood 1, Derby 3. Latest scores: Burton 1, Wycombe 1, Cheltenham 2. The leaders Portsmouth 1. So Bolton will be 2 points behind Pompey, but would have 2 games in hand. Exeter lead Carlisle by 2-0. Port Vale 2, Charlton 2. They're the latest scores in League 1. I'll rattle through the latest in the FA Cup third round very, very soon. 8 minutes remaining. Sports Report on its way. You're listening to 5 Live. Brereton Diaz, red and white shirts for Sheffield United. Sousa, the substitute, finds Norwood. Tries to thread a ball through. It reaches McAtee. McAtee to finish. And that he does. Gillingham's defence was left gaping. No banana skin for the Blades. Their first away win of the season is now sealed. It's Gillingham 0, Sheffield United 3.
Yeah, poor defending really. They both are, it was a ball. It was an underhit ball really. That bit of confusion, and then he's probably been the best player on the pitch today in terms of his control, in terms of his poise. But I really am, I'd be disappointed really if I was Clem, because I'm not sure that they've really run Sheffield United, that close. I'm not sure they've tested them today enough. And being at home in the FA Cup, a real opportunity, could be a banana skin, and it hasn't proved that. It's proved to be a fairly routine game for Sheffield.
Two players both went for the same ball, and it just ran through so kindly for McAtee, and that is the cue for a lot of the Gillingham supporters now to head to the exits. And Sheffield United are leading by 3-0. Semi-finalists, of course, last year in the competition, and on course for round 4. What about Chesterfield at Watford? John Bennett.
Oh, they should have taken the lead again. It's Watford 1, Chesterfield 1, but Ryan Colclough has just had a fantastic chance, headed back into the 6-yard area, just a few yards out, and he headed the ball over. Watford 1, Chesterfield 1.
Carlisle have got a goal back at Exeter in League One. Exeter 2, Carlisle 1. These then are the latest scores in the FA Cup. If you missed the results from earlier, these were the results. Wimbledon 1, Ipswich 3, Coventry 6, Oxford 2, Maidstone United of National League South knocking out Stevenage by 1-0. Millwall 2, Leicester 3, Sunderland 0, Newcastle United 3 in our first commentary. As Brereton Diaz forward for Sheffield United. The latest scores to follow after a latest goal at Stoke for Pat Murphy.
To Brighton, it's now 4-2. Magnificent flowing counter-attack, perfectly timed pass by Van Hecke of all people coming from the back, and there was Pedro again to tuck it away, accompanied by the broadest of smiles in front of his own supporters. Stoke 2, Brighton 4.
Blackburn 5, Cambridge 2, Gillingham 0, Sheffield United 3 here, Hull City 0, Birmingham City 1, Newport County 1, Eastleigh down to 10 men, and they were down to 10 men 7 minutes before half-time. Eastleigh of the National League still holding Newport County 1-1 there in South Wales. Norwich 1, Bristol Rovers 1, Plymouth 2, Sutton United 1, Queen's Park Rangers 2, Bournemouth 3, Southampton lead Walsall 4-0, Stoke, as we've been hearing from Pat, they're behind to Brighton and Hove Albion, and it remains Watford 1, Chesterfield 1. The National League leaders, Chesterfield, are still holding the Championship side at Vicarage Road. We're going to have a flurry of substitutions here now. Gillingham are going to make a triple change. Sheffield United are going to make one, which is going to be Ben Osborne, who's going to be coming on. So Osborne is coming on. The players coming off are going to be Hawkins, Mahoney for Gillingham. As we'll get an update from Newport and Lawrence Herdman.
Still Newport 1, 10-man Eastleigh 1. It's end-to-end, a classic FA Cup encounter, and Eastleigh at the moment are holding on because the pressure is all on the Spitfires' goal mouth. We've only got seconds left to play into added on time. It's Eastleigh still holding Newport 1-1.
George Lapsley has come on to replace Dom Jeffries. One of the other changes that they made was Hawkins coming off. Timothy Dieng, who's quite a leggy midfielder, was an injury doubt ahead of the game. He came on as well for Gillingham. And then Macaulay Bonne has also come on, and it was Ollie Hawkins who went off. So Nadesan, Jeffries and Hawkins and Mahoney have all gone off, and Lapsley, Dieng, as well as Clark, who was earlier on, had come on. So Macaulay Bonne coming on for him. So they've made a number of changes there, but it's a lost cause now for Gillingham.
Oh yeah, look, it's done and dusted. You know, Sheffield United have been, and let's give them credit, they've been thoroughly professional. They've made changes. You know, they've rested some of their big guns. They've made changes, played a youngish team with a spluttering of experience, and they've navigated this tie excellently well. You didn't expect anything different. We spoke about it before the game, but Chris Wilder's used to, you know, he's had to earn his stripes and come through the lower leagues with Halifax, with Northampton, with Oxford, so he'll know what it takes to win a game here anyway, with less quality than he has now. So they've been excellent today, let's be honest.
Crawley have equalised at Valley Parade. Bradford City 2, Crawley 2. There's been a goal at Hull City. And Sheffield United have just got a fourth. The corner was taken short on the right hand side, and then it was hit by McAtee, left-footed, and it went whistling past the goalkeeper, and another fine goal for Sheffield United.
Yeah, I mean, we spoke about it earlier on. They can't just put the ball in the box because of the height difference they have, but they've been clever with the set plays. They've taken short ones, and to be fair, he's been the best player on the pitch. Showed real quality all throughout, and it's only what he deserves. His first goal showed a real bit of composure. That just showed class.
So McAtee at the double, and they increase their lead now to 4-0. Now, Hull were trailing at home to Birmingham in the Cup. There's been a goal. Katie Smith.
They finally find their way back into this game. Hull City 1, Birmingham 1. Cross from the right-hand side. Matty Jacob on his full debut. There's a scrap in the goal mouth, and he leathers it into the back of the net. 1-1.
Thank you, Katie. Gillingham now trail by 4-0. Only 2 wins in 21 games all season, both at home against Wolves and Brentford, as Lapsley hits a whistler right-footed, and it's off target for a goal kick. But Priestfield is a rapidly deserting stadium from this crowd of just under 9,000. A goal at Home Park. Plymouth Sutton, John Akers.
Yeah, Sutton have been so brave, but Plymouth have got a third. Plymouth 3, Mansfield 1. Morgan Whittaker on the counter-attack, took a little deflection. 3-1.
Stephen Clements, very rarely in his playing career was that in the role of an underdog. He was at Tottenham, they went to Leyton Orient. For his Birmingham days, they went to Torquay. But by and large, he's always been the scout that's been looking to be claimed by others. But here, he's been unable to do it in his 13th game in charge in the early days of his managerial career. Now it was Watford 1, Chesterfield 1. John Bennett, who've had a goal.
It's still Watford 1, Chesterfield 1. Watford, though, so close to getting a winner. Deli Bashiru with a chance which was pushed wide out for a corner. It's Watford on top in these final stages as Chesterfield look to hold on to try to get a replay, the National League side. Watford 1, Chesterfield 1.
Chesterfield then holding on. Eastleigh down to 10 men, holding on at Newport County 1-1 to try and get into the hat for Monday's draw for the 4th round. There's a free kick. Is hit by Malone. Diagonal ball drops into the area, volleyed away by Osborne for Sheffield United. Aside from that effort from Aymer, as a break is on here towards Harmer, they could have a 5th goal here. Could Sheffield United? Brereton Diaz on his debut, blocked by the legs of goalkeeper Turner, and out it goes for a throw. Nathan.
Yeah, look, they've been susceptible all afternoon to the counter-attack. I mean, it could have been more. They've scored one, could have had another one first half, definitely should have had one with Brewster here on the counter-attack. They haven't been able to contain the pace and the athleticism that Sheffield United have in the team.
We're going to have just the 1 minute of added on time. McAtee floats it forward, so we're into that stoppage time now. As Port Vale 2, Charlton 3 is the latest score in League One. So there isn't much time for Watford or Newport County to try and find a late winner to knock out their non-league opposition, Chesterfield and Eastleigh of the National League respectively. But Gillingham unable to match the efforts of Maidstone United. And as you look down elsewhere in the FA Cup 3rd round for the 3 o'clock kickoffs, Bournemouth, who were 2-0 down at Queen's Park Rangers, have come back to lead by 3-2. And Brighton now lead at Stoke City by 4-2. So we haven't really had too much of a stir in this Saturday afternoon. Our next instalment will come from the Riverside. Middlesbrough against Aston Villa. The start of a busy few days for Michael Carrick and his team, because the League Cup semi-finals next week. Tuesday they entertain Chelsea, and we'll be there. But here at Priestfield, it's finished. Sheffield United 4 beating Gillingham by 4-0. Nathan Jones.
Look, 2 things really for me. I mean, look, it's no shame in losing 4-0 to a Premier League side when you are 2-3 leagues apart, okay? This isn't Gillingham's bread and butter. Obviously, they want to try and climb the league, want to try and get in the playoffs. That's what they want. But for me, if you lose 4-0, really having a go, really going after it, then look, you can hold your hands up. But today I think Clem will be a little bit disappointed, because I'm not sure Gillingham were ever in this game. I really don't. I think it was a routine result, a routine performance. I think straight after half-time, Sheffield United came out with a swagger, and I don't think they ever lost it.
Thanks to Nathan Jones. 2 goals in the first half from Asula and 2 for McAtee in the last 7 minutes, and Sheffield United serenely through to round 4. Gillingham 0, Sheffield United 4.
Thank you very much, guys. Much more to come.